Welcome back. Next up, the challengers are taking the champion field. We have Shane Pastana here from Royalty. How have you guys been performing this weekend?
You know, the first game we lost to CEP, and they thumped us pretty hard. And then after that, we made a few adjustments to the breakout, and we've done well. It's been great games, and, you know, we came out 3-1, so now here we are, getting ready to bang against the Russians.
Here you are, like you said, going against the Russians. They are undefeated in prelims, and few teams have actually been able to score points. So what's going to be your strategy going into this?
You know, our approach is pretty simple. We're just going to be like we're playing back home at SCP. We're just going to go on the attack and see what we do. We're a young, you know, up-and-coming team, and the Russians are for real. I mean, it doesn't surprise me they're thumping teams out here, and so here we go, right? It's going to be fun. The kids are totally excited. We had good sushi last night and celebrate to go bang against the Russians, right? Here we go, right?
Here we go. You're right. This is their chance to bump up to the champion bracket. We'll see if they can do it.
All right, so yeah, we're back here. Can't wait to see that game. Yeah, so it's actually Moscow Red Legion taking on Royalty. An interesting story there. Royalty, again, there's a lot of teams like this in the Champions Division. Players with a huge amount of professional experience. You know, and when you got guys like Shane Pastana guiding the ship, man, you really can't ask for a better coach. Shane Pastana, legendary team captain, legendary player over the years, and he guided he basically spent all of his career with the Los Angeles Ironmen, so this is a new chapter for him. And he was one of the best players in the world, and he's been playing pro paintball for, God, about 20 years now.
Yeah, he's getting up there. That means he's kind of dating him a little bit.
Well, the thing with Shane is that, you know, he's a big help to these younger guys on that squad. Guys like Toke Hamill, Chris Catt, the Vitalich brothers. There's a lot of talent on Royalty. I'm expecting big things out of them eventually. As soon as some of the younger guys, the more inexperienced guys on that team can get a little bit of experience under their belts. You know, the Vitalich brothers, there's 3 of them on that team.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, you can call that name out at any time, and you know they're going to be good. So, you know, but with the experience of Shane Pastana, you know, coming into the game, you know, he's really going to help them out, you know, with experience.
Well, the thing with Shane is what he's good at is he's good at helping you become the best player that you can be, and making you understand what's possible with your talent level. And then on the flip side, Moscow Red Legion, with Moscow, they're in a rebuilding stage, and I think they understand that now. So the last thing that they wanted to happen was to have them get bumped down to the Challengers Division. But, you know, talking to Jason Wheeler and listening to his interviews, I think that actually it's a good thing for them because it's letting them gel. They've made some major changes to how they're rostering or how they're playing their guys. So before they used to have 2 lines. They'd have one line that was all Russians and another line that was the imported talent from Europe and the United States. But now they're basically combining those lines, which is how things have been going. You know, teams have 2 choices. Do we play a starting 5 and then rotate guys in, or do we have 2 different lines? Moscow was one of the last teams to still have 2 lines. So we're just a couple minutes before the start of the first point here in the Challengers Division. Semifinals, trying to fight it out, see who's going to earn the right to move up into the Champions Division. So, yeah, it's been such a great tournament, and I'd like to welcome you guys back here, and hope you guys have been watching all weekend long. Make sure to let everyone know the webcast is on, and the best teams in the world are throwing down for your viewing pleasure. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Steve Rabikoff and Chris Lasoya. So, boys, who do you like in this matchup?
Well, the way Russian Legion has been playing so far, I think they're pretty determined to get back where they think they belong. But then you got Royalty here, Chris, that, like you said with Shane, a lot of experience, and these guys want to prove that they belong in this division. So right now that Russian Legion juggernaut, though, looks really good.
Yeah, they're 4-0 on the tournament so far to get to this into this matchup here.
And I mean, not giving up many points either, Matty. I mean, it's...
Well, they beat Texas Storm in 6 minutes.
That's a
7-0 in 6 minutes.
That's crazy. I mean, that's a tough... I mean, that's still a tough team. You know, doing it on any field, let alone on this field, 7-0 in 6 minutes is kind of unheard of. So they're bound and determined to come out of this, you know, Challenge Division, get back, like you said, where they belong, Steve.
Yeah, I watched that game yesterday, and I'm like, I walked up at 3-0, and I'm like, who's playing? And I looked, and it was just... They were just running around. I was like, I felt bad.
Looked like sprinting drills?
Yeah.
Is what was happening out
It
there?
looked like breakout drills.
So here we go on the breakout. Moscow Red Legion on your screen all the way off the break to the snake. And also it looks like Royalty able to make it in there too. And it's Kevin Klum. Kevin Klum getting his start over here on the first in the snake.
Great breakout for Royalty, 5 alive. Didn't lose any bodies on the break at all, and that's really good against the Russian Legion, because not many guys did that yesterday.
You know, I was talking to Shane Pistana, and the boys on his team are so excited to have a chance to play against Moscow Red Legion. Really happy for this opportunity to prove themselves against a team that's been a legend for a long time. Oh, but Vidulich drops the ball. He got so zoned up on Kevin here in the snake that he got shot cross field, so a little mental mistake by number 25, Jason Vidulich.
And here goes Russian Legion now, going all the way down the snake, and that's the move to make. Won't let those guys Royalty get in, and now he takes him out, Chris.
Oh, but Kevin gets his gets shot out, so and then immediately filling up into that snake. Right behind Kevin is Alexander Biernikov, the 2012 Top Gun, the best player on planet Earth, playing this game here, is now in the snake.
And that's one guy you really don't want to mess with.
No,
he's a really good shot. His field of winners is amazing.
Well, what's crazy about Biernikov is that he's a really small guy. So he started off his career playing up in front, but he's really morphed into an insert or even a back guy sometimes. So he really, truly can. We talk about versatility. He's one of the most versatile, probably the most versatile player. And I think that, oh, major penalty. Oh, so Biernikov drawing a major penalty, and he's going to have to run to the box now.
Yeah, and that was definitely justified. I mean, here comes Shane Pistana. We talked about him earlier. Super experienced player.
Yeah, Shane Pistana, out of everyone playing either the Champs or the Challengers division, has the most time behind the gun of anyone that's out here.
And he's going, looks like, well, it's 2-on-1 right now, and you got Kirill Perodini going down the field here, so let's see if he sneaks up on the Royalty player in the back.
Actually, that's not Shane Pistana the snake. That's actually John Kolkman, who Shane considers their best player. When I asked Shane, who's the best player on the team? And we were talking about different guys, but he says that the guys on the team consider John to be their best player.
He's going to grab this flag, and he shoots Kirill.
Wow. That was a shot.
Wow.
So he steps, look at that. So Shane Pistana and the rest of the boys on Royalty, when polled, they're like, yeah, man, we think John's our best player. And look at that very smart performance by him out here, able to grab that flag and run it in, and then he didn't even actually have to do anything crazy and get crafty trying to run it in. He was just able to get that shot in on him in that one-on-one situation.
And pull the point on Russian Legion and beat Kirill in the one-on-one. He's one of the better gunfighters in the league.
Yeah.
And still, there's still 1 minute and 17 seconds left in this major penalty on Moscow Red Legion as well.
Yeah, and uncharacteristic of Alexander Biernikov, he doesn't get a ton of penalties, but drew a major there. So penalties playing a huge factor for all teams, for most teams, and you got to stay out of that box if you want to have a chance here on Sunday.
Yeah, and like playing against a team like Moscow Red Legion, you need all the advantages you can get. And looking at Royalty right now, they're looking pretty good, actually.
5 alive on the break, and they got Russian in the penalty box. So
they're not
all the advantages you can get against those guys.
Yeah, you want every possible point you can get against the Moscow Red Legion, especially the way that they are playing here in this event. Very angry that they got relegated down and that they played way under their potential at the last event, the Mid-Atlantic Open. So can they get back in this match? We will see in just a few short moments. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, golf. Night. Oh yeah, golf. Oh yeah. Night.
And we're back. This game brought to you by Paintball Nation. Go to pbnation.com and join the conversation. Any sort of question you want answered, or you want to participate in any sort of dialogue about anything that has to do with the game, from big games, tournaments, and scenarios, and any of these teams, you're going to find it on pbnation.com. So here we go. Moscow Red Legion, 4 bodies alive, still have, then it looks like they lose Michael Kovar over here on the snake side, dying out of his bunker.
And Royalty also loses one on the Dorito corner, but Russian Legion moving down that Dorito 50 pretty hard here.
Yeah, so Jason Vidlich able to get here into Snake 1. There's no one in there with him and no one looking at him right now, so he needs to get down the field as much as he possibly can. He knows that the Russians have a player in the 50-yard line. Dorito not quite able to get a shot on him,
And he
though.
almost got that pod sticking out there, right at the edge of that bunker.
So
And
Vidlich
close.
owning the Snake, and he's going to try to get that crossfield shot. And then finally, Moscow picks up. I think it's Jason Wheeler in the back corner bunker. Yeah, number 89, Jason Wheeler, who's now rolling his gun, trying to get a shot in on the back player behind Jason Vidlich.
You know, playing really, really smart play ball, but losing the back corner on the bottom side of your screen.
Jason Wheeler's walking off.
That's going to hurt them right there, Matty.
Yeah, right now, Vidlich has a big, oh God, I was just going to say has a really big opportunity. You can see he's very frustrated with himself right there as he gets real sloppy trying to get that crossfield shot, which is potentially going to open things up for Moscow Red Legion because they get Alexander Biernikov out of the box. So can Toke Hamill finish this point off for Royalty? Oh, but John gets shot behind him. So if Royalty wants to win this match, they have to stop making those small little mistakes. I mean, if you blow aside like Vidlich just did with Toke Hamill, and then now Wheeler running through, I'm sorry, Pavel Lukashuk running through on the Dorito side, and then Toke Hamill gets taken out. Biernikov able to burn that penalty off, or his team's able to burn off the penalty, and then he's going to hang that flag up to tie it up. So big opportunity lost here by, and I see Chris is shaking his head. Yeah, that's a...
And it got a little bit even worse for Royalty at the end because it looks like one of their players got a penalty possibly for talking here. So we'll see where that stands here in a minute.
You know, very unfortunate right there. You know, John Vidlich had the ball, was going to work. He was down at Russian Legion's end of the Snake all alone, uncontested, and just came out into a ball. Now, that just, you know, it shows the composure of the Moscow Red Legion. You know, they're on their heels, they're in a penalty, but they held it together.
Well, Moscow did what they needed to do. When you're starting with a major penalty, you really just need to get wide and burn as much time off the clock as possible. They lost Kovar early, and then Vidlich was able to make that move down the Snake. But you saw his body language when he got shot out of there. He knew he made a big mistake because what that happened is it opened the door slightly, and then even to compound their problems, then John gets shot out of his bunker, blowing this entire side of the field, which enabled all the pressure because, you know, paintball is a game of cross-field angles. When you get in a Snake, you're shooting towards the Dorito side a lot of times. I mean, yes, you have to contend with the guys in front of you and run them down when they're close, but once that Snake side came off for Royalty, that enabled Pavel Lukashuk to get that move down on the Dorito side of the field to close the point out.
And Royalty guys were basically walking on the Snake side in the open a little bit there, so got a little sloppy there.
Yeah, definitely got a little sloppy. You saw them kind of get clipped in the side.
And it looked like they had that point one.
They did. They definitely had.
They had an opportunity. Alexander Biernikov gave him a gift.
Yeah, you're at the end of the Russian Legion Snake. It should be game over.
Yeah, like, you know, like I said, Malloy gave him a gift, and they're like, you know what, I'm good. You can keep that.
And here goes a flag just flying up on the field here now.
Oh, Lord. Another flag being thrown on the Moscow Red Legion side of the field. We'll get back to you on that as soon as we get the information put up here. But right now, it could be a 2-0 game, but unfortunately, you know, Pavel Lukashuk drawing a minor penalty.
And it looks like Royalty's in a major.
So I mean, it's very unfortunate. So 4-on-4 game starting. There's Moscow Red Legion coming out of the box. 4 up on both teams right now, Matty.
Yeah, so with Pavel in the box, it's that minor penalty and only about 47 seconds left. And so Royalty with Toke Hamill getting that penalty, he's going to have to spend, or I'm sorry, Chris Catt. So Chris Catt coming off the Ironman. Look at this, battle on the Snake side. And Toke Hamill asking for a penalty on that. And he's going to catch a couple extra bonus balls from Royalty there in the Snake as those Kevin Klum walks off a little shaky. Got a triple tapped in the top of his dome there. So 3 bodies on the field, alive for both teams. Alexander Biernikov, Jason Wheeler, and Dennis Golev for Moscow Red Legion. And Jeffrey Vidlich, Daniel Ibarra, and Shane Pastana alive for Royalty to score 1-1, 14:41 to go here.
Jason Wheeler just gets eliminated in the Snake corner, but Russian Legion should be coming out of the penalty box right now. Let's see if he makes it out.
Looks like he's able to make it out clean. Vidlich making his move down the Snake. Jeffrey Vidlich about to get run down.
Nice move here on Lukashuk.
Yeah, Lukashuk looking real good. Gets himself 1, gets himself 2. Just Shane Pastana had made that move down the Dorito, and now Pavel's closing the distance. So great job by...
Comes out of the penalty box, smokes 3 dudes, and grabs the flag.
And that's a guy that needs to have a big game. In order for Moscow Red Legion to become a dominant championship team again, they need guys like Lukashuk to step up. just like he did right there.
Yeah,
Nice point.
Again, another point with Royalty, where they had a position again to win that point.
You know, I think it comes down to, like, Maddie said at the beginning of the game, experience. It's not a huge, highly experienced team, and they're not used to being in positions like this, whereas Moscow Red Legion has been in this position many times before, and they're just used to winning.
They are, and I think that, again, it was just, it's almost good for them that they had to bump down to the Challengers division, because you got to learn how to win, and with their current incarnation of their team and a lot of new guys coming on, and some guys that are getting a lot more playing time, like this guy right here, Pavlukshuk, 84th overall, and he just had a really stellar point right there, and right now he has 5 confirmed kills in this matchup. So the score is now 2-1 in favor of Moscow Red Legion with 14:04 on the clock, and we'll be right back.
What makes the Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball?
What makes the Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball?
Россия – это страна с очень сложными погодными условиями.
Not only is the Spire smaller and lighter than leading competitors,
The Spire is designed to take the toughest abuse that paintball puts out and keep feeding no matter how bad your paint or weather gets.
With a true 200 round capacity, it holds more paint as well.
not only is it easier to take apart, but more importantly, it's easier to put back together. Find out more at virtuespire.com.
Split screen breakout here, 5 seconds to go. On the left, San Jose Royalty, and on the right-hand part of your screen, Moscow Red Legion with a 1-point advantage. And still in that box is Chris Catt with 21 seconds to go on his major penalty. So look for him to be streaking out of that box here shortly, as Moscow Red Legion making their moves to the 50-yard line on the Dorito side of the field, able to get in clean. And looking at Moscow trying to fight their way into the snake.
Look at that, Royalty's moving on snake one, so good move on Royalty, and they take out Michael Kovar in the back snake corner, so Royalty's making some moves, and he gets out of the box, so let's see, is he alive? Yep, he makes it to the snake corner as well, so Royalty's now got played out of the penalty box, Maddie.
Yeah, when you can get out clean, it's huge. So Chris Catt able to make it out clean, so now Royalty with the advantage, but this is what the story of this game is. They've been doing a great job getting the penetration and able to get up here on the snake side, but the problem is they can't really get past where they are right now, so let's see if Vidalich can get it done this time. Gets a shot in on Kevin Klum. So now completely owning this snake side of the field is Vidalich and Chris Catt.
You know, going to work, I mean, he's in such a good position right now. Looks like this is probably going to be curtains right here for the Moscow Red Legion for this point. Bringing it to an even game, 2-2. Look at the number 25, Jason Vidalich, just going to work over here in the snake, Matty.
Yeah, Vidalich having a big point right here, and Chris Catt contributing after he got out of the box. And so they are going to take a little bit of that momentum away from Moscow Red Legion in some longer points here. 12 minutes and 33 seconds to go. Vidalich got a confirmed kill in that one, so did Toe Camel Chris Catt. So Vidalich actually got 2.
You know, 5 alive, too. That was a strong point right there for them, and I think that's what they really needed. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence, personally. Royalty coming out, not playing scared whatsoever against this Moscow Red Legion team.
Well, you know, Royalty plays a lot of big teams. In California, it's such a hotbed for paintball talent, Northern California and Southern California, so Royalty's had the opportunity to practice against the Ironman Dynasty. They played a lot of these big teams, and that's the only way, really, you can truly speed up and accelerate your level of play.
And look what they're doing. The Russians have lost 2 points this game, and they haven't done that much this tournament at all. So right now the Russians are facing a little adversity they haven't gone through yet at this event.
You know, and what if you're Moscow Red Legion, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about them after this commercial message from our sponsors.
Welcome back here You're watching the 2013 PSP Chicago Open. Over 200 teams have assembled at CPX Challenge Park Extreme in Joliet, Illinois to battle to see who's going to win this tournament. Here we're watching the Challengers Division in the professional leagues as Moscow Red Legion and San Jose Royalty are all tied up at 2 apiece, 12 minutes and 33 seconds to go.
Who is going to want this match more, Matt?
Well, whoever, it's tough. I don't know, man. I mean,
it looks like Royalty wants this a lot more right now than Russian Legion.
Moscow, absolutely. Because what happens here is whoever wins this match.
Left a little bit early, so that Royalty just lost the player on the break.
So whoever wins this match will assure themselves a berth in the Champions League and fight to see who's going to win the Challengers League.
Man, just taking 2 or 3 players taking a walk already for Moscow Red Legion, for Royalty.
Well, and Moscow got a real bad start too, so they only had 3 guns up off the break, but those 3 guns were able to make a real solid impact here as Kevin Klum able to polish off John over here on the snake side of the field, and then Malloy Alexander Biernikov is going to hang that flag up. Solid work by Moscow Red Legion.
And I think, again, with a little bit of experience, a lot of the games have been happening this week. You really have to pay attention to the horns on both fields, and I think Royalty wasn't really paying attention too good on that one, Chris.
Yeah, no, they got to jump a little bit on the break, losing 1 player on that, and then losing one player real quick after that.
So you're looking at the breakout comparison here, and for Royalty. And the thing was, man, Moscow got a real look at this. They jumped the gun here and had to come back. And if you jump the gun early, you are able to come back, touch up, and then start again. But it puts you in a perilous situation because then you're wide out in the open with paintballs flying at you.
You're out in that open a little bit longer than you even wanted to.
Yeah. So nice work by the 3 players from Moscow that did get the good start, because those are the ones that were able to get those shots in and make the difference early on in that point. So Moscow up 1 over San Jose Royalty.
And in the pitch right now with Moscow Red Legion, nice, cool, calm, and collected. 3-2 lead over San Jose Royalty, but I'm thinking Royalty's looking better right now, just personally. I mean, who wants it more, Steve said, and I think that right now the Royalty's looking like they do.
Well, you know, with Royalty, I think their talent level's so high. Obviously, a lot of inexperienced guys on that team in real big, huge competitions like this. But they look fluid, they look hungry. I know from talking to their captain and their coach, Shane Pestana, that these guys, they want to be big-time pro. They want to be a big-time pro team, and they want to make it into the Champions League and try to prove themselves there.
Just watching Shane out there. When I came up playing with Houston Heat, and then joining the Ironmen, and I'm learning from Shane. It's just to watch him play. I kind of want to get back out there, but I know better.
Hey, Shane's a competitor, and honestly, I don't think that this was something that it just kind of happened organically with Shane. You know, he really loved the game. Paintball's hard to leave. I mean, we're all still players at heart, and we still play. It's just one of those things that the hunger really never completely subsides.
Look at this. Barytnikov and Jason Wheeler are both walking off the snake side. 2 players down, but, you know, they do have a player in the snake 1, but still. Jason Wheeler's having a real rough time in that snake corner, Chris.
Yeah, you know, that's a rough spot to get out to. And once you do get out there, if they're up in the Doritos like they are right now, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, you can get pinched out pretty easily. You know, right there, here's a battle heads up in the snake right now, going to work.
Yeah, it's Toe Camel for Royalty, and he's matched up against Kevin Klum.
Oh, and he just gets clipped in the head, sticking up a little bit too high.
So Toe Camel comes and immediately starts yelling at his sideline coach.
Which you don't need to really do that. Just concentrate on playing.
Yeah, even if you did get some misinformation, and I can totally understand the frustration. That's tough to stop, though. You know, because if you feel like you got some misinformation,
you still got to keep your eyes on the game.
You still got to keep your eyes on the game. Ultimately, you're the one that's making the decisions out there. Another thing about Kevin Klum was playing the snake well for the Russians. Ooh, he might have got clipped, though, on this point. Oh, and he's just going to get run down by John. So John runs down Kevin Klum.
And here goes a red flag.
Major penalty on Kevin Klum, who is getting a starting role over here on the snake side of the field. He's a rookie picked up from Vision. He's also from France, and dropping the ball here, getting that major penalty and not helping the team.
Russian Legion are just doing everything they can to keep this game interesting.
Yeah, they are.
And Royalty's taking advantage of it now. I mean, they potentially
Finally
will.
taking advantage of it because they had an opportunity earlier to start running up the points on the board, and they just weren't able to do it. But able to tie it up here at 3 apiece. And with the Russians is that you have, Kevin Klum was picked up and didn't get a lot of playing time in the first event, and has finally found his way into a starting role over here on the Snake side, because that's the big question. Last year, another French player, Axel Godin, who's now back with the Tauntauns, he was playing the front player on the Snake side of the field, backed up by Jason Wheeler, who was the 2012 Rookie of the Year. And Russians had the Rookie of the Year and the Top Gun title holder on their squad last year, but they lost Axel, so they picked up Kevin and also Michael Kovar, and kind of been going back and forth as to who's going to play the Snake, but Kevin earned that starting role, but now sitting in the box, 2-minute major penalty on him.
3-3 game. 10:24 left. This is I don't think Russian Legion envisioned this going for them like this.
Yeah, this is not how they wanted this game to go, but it's not over yet. It's all tied up at 3 apiece. It looks like we have an interview with Lauren Kelly and one of the Royalty members. Let's check it out.
We are tied right now, 3-3. Russians have a penalty. That's good for you guys. But you have Marcelo Margot over here. What kind of advice is he giving you?
You know what? The whole Ironman family's here. They're all on the Snake side coaching us. They're in the pits helping us. And that's what we're about. The Dye family, we take care of each other. And us and Ironman, we're brother teams. So Marcelo's just he's a calming force for us, because it's kind of crazy in here for us right now. So.
Well, obviously it's helping. 3-3. Point starts in 10 seconds. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's take it to him.
So here we go. Who is going to take this matchup and earn their right to play in the Champions League here in the best tournament series in the world? And off the break, Royalty and Moscow streaking out. 4 players on the field for Moscow as Kevin Klum sits in that box waiting for his chance to get out, but Moscow Red Legion losing Alexander Biernikov on the break.
Big-time killers on that team there, so Royalty's definitely putting a lot of guns on him, and smart to do that.
So now Toke Hamill in the Snake all the way down here past the 50-yard line, going to try to get a cross-field shot on the stand-up temple on the Dorito side. This game is all about angles. You got to try to get as far up the field as you possibly can and get those good shots. The way this field is set up, the farther you get down the field, the better the shots become. Paintball is a game of aggression and support communication. So many different variables go into playing this game well, which is why it's so addicting. You have the pure adrenaline rush, just pure joy and fun of the game itself, but the reason why it kind of gets stuck in your mind is because it's like, minutes to learn, lifetime to master. So here we go in dominant field position over here on the Snake side. Toke Hamill trying to go to work and take out the last players for Moscow Red Legion to take this lead. Dennis Golev and Jason Wheeler, the last players left alive. Kevin Klum sitting in that box waiting to get out. 47 seconds left on his penalty.
And Russians, if they keep knocking down this time on this penalty, that's the best thing they could do, and hope that they could hold off Royalty, because Royalty's making moves down all across the field.
And Moscow Red Legion doing a really good job at grinding this penalty down. I think Toke Hamill kind of has to get on his horse. Oh, taking out the back corner. On that D side, you saw him on the right side of your screen coming off. And now the last Russian Legion player, Jason Wheeler, taking the walk, running the flag in with 18 seconds left, probably 17 going to be left on that major penalty, which is still a huge advantage on the break.
That's a big advantage on this field.
Absolutely. Well, this field is challenging because it's aggressive. There's a lot of options, so you got to try to figure out, okay, where can I go? But the thing is, off the break, that's the thing. In order to get out to your spot and shoot someone off the break, you have to be running and gunning. So if you have one less body, that's 20% of your firepower that's gone off the break. So 16 seconds on that Klum penalty. The score 4-3 in favor of Royalty. 8 minutes and 41 seconds remain, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back here to the 2013 PSP Chicago Open. 200 teams competing in multiple divisions. Go to pspevents.com, get your team into the fight. The next event, West Coast Open, for sure is going to sell out, as every event has thus far this year. So it looks like a timeout is called by Moscow Red Legion to try to ice down San Jose Royalty. And we have Lauren Kelly on the sidelines with the update in the Moscow pit.
I'm here in the Russians pit with Jason Wheeler. Jason, you guys were dominating on the challenger field all weekend. You only had 5 points total scored on you by any team. Here, Royalty is beating you this moment, and you still have 15 minutes on that penalty. What's your strategy going into this?
To not get any more penalties. That's what's killing us at the moment. Is like we've had like 2 majors and a minor already, so we need to stop getting that and start controlling the game, and that's when we're at our best.
Are you guys just going to be sitting in your bunkers trying to burn out that 15 seconds?
Yeah, but not play too conservative. We want to push still, so we're going to try our best.
Okay, we'll see if they can push. Right now it's 4-3. Royalty is up. We'll see if Russians can tie it up.
So, with only 5 points scored on Moscow for the entire event, it is a little bit of a shocker that Royalty is winning this match, because Moscow is so intent on earning the right to play in the Champions Division. But Royalty is very hungry, and you guys were talking about how strong they looked and how confident they looked, and it's showing here in this matchup.
And coming to this event, like you said, they get to practice a lot of teams, you know, on the West Coast, and I think they practiced Impact, and I heard they had a really good practice against Impact. So, like you said, a lot of experience practicing these higher-ranked teams, and it's showing, because they're not backing down from the Russian Legion at all.
No, they're not. And with a leader like Shane Pastana, I remember when I played under Shane Pastana on the Ironman, and man, he was just such a confidence inducer. He was literally like, having Shane Pastana around you is just having like a main line into your brain that controls your confidence level, because he's always just so good at saying the right thing at the right time to elicit the best response from his players. And we're seeing that out there right now. And he just has a lot of talent at his disposal. I mean, the 3 Vidulich brothers are all really solid players. And they have guys like Chris Catt and Toe Camel with pro experience before playing with the Ironman. And then they have guys like John Florence, who have just done a great job of pulling out some points, some close points here, winning 101s.
And as you said, Shane Pastana, he was getting ready to run the VA, and he's done that twice this game already, but he got hit going there. So Royalty's down 1. With Michael Kovar from Moscow Red Legion at the Snake 50, Chris.
You know, it's very, very unfortunate. Also, you know, spread across the field, you see Moscow Red Legion taking up the 50. Dorito all the way at the top of your screen, Matty.
Yeah, but here comes a move on the Snake side. Michael Kovar stepping up and taking out 2 players. Awesome move by Michael Kovar, who gets a spin over here, taking Kevin Klum's space in the Snake and making the most of it.
And convincing point right there by Moscow Red Legion. You know, I think that Shane Pastana actually got, I'm not sure if he got shot, but I know he got pulled for not having his gun on the gate. When you start the game, you have got to have your barrel touching the start gate. And unfortunately, he just didn't get his barrel back in time. He started to, the horn blew and he ended up taking off, but that is the reason that he unfortunately got pulled out. And I hate seeing that. Like, they should give anybody that's our age a little wiggle room. I mean,
and especially if he was getting ready to run to the VA as he was on his way going to.
I should be able to start in my bunker of this age.
So it's all tied up at 4 apiece now. Unfortunate turn of events. Shane Pastana getting pulled out as he was not touching the start gate off the break. Let's check out the replay here. The start of this match, or I'm sorry, that last run through. So here comes Michael Kovar.
Getting a 2-piece.
Yeah, getting a 2-pack here, and that's what they need out of Kovar. You know, Kovar was picked up to play the Snake. He played the Snake for years for San Antonio X Factor, and then he actually moved to Europe to run a paintball field in Belgium, and Moscow saw an opportunity there, and so Michael Kovar getting picked up and having a really good point there. So, man, what a close game. This has been, we saw a ton of close games yesterday, and we're expecting to see the same thing here. Because it's Sunday, and the whole reason you play paintball is to have the chance to compete on Sunday and earn those wins.
Yeah, and like all the teams on the challenge, on the divisional fields that are playing right now, their goal is to get to this field right here, so they can get on the webcast so their families can watch back at home, and say they made the webcast. I walk around a lot of the divisional fields and I hear these guys talking and how bad they want to get to this field.
Well, it's your chance to shine. You work so hard. These guys grind out practice. There's a reason why it's called the grind. Practice is, obviously paintball, it's always fun to play, but when you're trying, it's like anything else in life. No matter, even if you're good at something and you enjoy it, if you want to be one of the best at it, it takes a lot of work. And these guys work so hard and to have a chance to display their skills to the world. I mean, the webcast, we're in over 100 countries. And, when I went to Europe not too long ago, and guys were saying, paintball store owners were like, yeah, we're having parties at 10 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
This is perfect time to show up and start watching it.
It's crazy. Like, same thing, get messages constantly, webcast parties, and it's everywhere, man.
And a mental mistake on Royalty's part right there, starting with 4 players. Very, very unfortunate circumstances and turn of events here right now. So 4-4 and losing Jeffrey Vitalik.
Yeah, and now it looks like they're going to lose John as well. John Kolkman, he gets taken out. Shane Pestana, last player left alive over here on the Snake side. So Moscow looking real strong, looking like they're going to put another point on the board here to take a 1-point lead with 7 minutes and 2 seconds to go.
Mental mistakes right now by Royalty, only walking on the field with 4 players.
So Alexander Biernikov, Pavel Lukashuk, and Kevin Klum all getting some kills out there for Moscow here in this point. And if that hang is clean, looks like it is, we're going to have ourselves a 1-point game with Moscow Red Legion up by 1 over San Jose Royalty. And we'll be right back after this. So it looks like Royalty going to call a timeout here to, 1, slow the momentum down of Moscow Red Legion, and 2, come up with some solid game plans here to try to get back in this matchup and tie it up.
And make sure they have 5 to start the next game. 'Cause again, you can't make those kind of mental mistakes against a team like Moscow Red Legion.
Yeah, not when you're trying to earn your spot in the Champions Division. I mean, they fought so hard to keep this game close and have blown, because Royalty, they blew some opportunities early on in this match.
And look at, we're 5-4, and it could be Royalty a few more points on this, because they're not playing bad. They're just making some
making some little mistakes. And
yeah.
when Royalty goes back and watches this game, if they end up winning it, they're going to kind of be like, oh, thank God, because they did blow some points that they very easily could have won. This score very easily could be 6-4 Royalty. And so they're going to go back and watch this to do their homework and kind of shake their heads a little bit at the beginning of the game. But that's okay. I mean, ultimately, it's with a team like Royalty, lots of upside for that team because there is so much young talent on that squad, and they are so hungry. You can see by the way they walk around the field, you can see the vibe on the team. They have a really good team vibe on Royalty.
It's just growing pains at the end of the day. I mean, you're a young team, but you're coming up in the world right now, so looking forward to it. Let's go down the field to Lauren Kelly and see what they have to say down there in the pits.
I'm standing here on the sidelines with Alex Williams from Royalty. This has been a point-by-point game. You guys were just kind of having a team meeting there. What were you talking about?
Really just slow it down, push on both sides. They got good laners on the break, so we got to watch our zones. And, just make sure we get to our bunkers alive, 5 alive. 5-on-5 paintball is going to be key for us.
What happened in that last point when you started with 4?
Toke's gun was hot. We didn't have time to press the timeout, so we started 4 and 5, unfortunately. Russians beat us up, but we're going to come back and win this next point.
Okay, we'll see if they can come back on this next point. Back to you guys.
I like that. He says we're going to come out here and win this next point. So they're still confident. You need to be. You're only down 1. Plenty of time left in this match.
Well, as much as you want to, always try to stay humble in life, if you want to be great at paintball, when you're in between those nets and when it's your time to shine, you need to play with a chip on your shoulder. You absolutely have to play with a chip on your shoulder. You have to believe inside that you are the best. And and even if, with Royalty, because they are a young team, very talented, but you have, so it's like we say, fake it till you make it. I mean, you've got to really be confident in your skills, and then eventually, if you believe that long enough and train hard enough, one day you will make that your reality. And that's the case for every team that's ever won, every player that's ever become one of the best players in the game. They all started from somewhere, and that's why there's, like we say, there's so much upside to a team like San Jose Royalty, because they have so much young talent on that team and some really good older guys that have been there before
and
to help guide them along the way.
A great supporting cast with Ironman helping them along as well. So.
Yeah, the Ironman had a frustrating tournament here, avoided having to play the relegation game, so they are still in the Champions League, but now here helping support their brother team in San Jose Royalty.
And Jason Wheeler on the top side of your screen, taking the walk from Moscow Red Legion, having a rough go at this game right here.
They're making it difficult for him on that snake corner here so far.
But a heads-up battle on the snake right now. Here comes Royalty.
Yeah, so Moscow struggling on this point a little bit here on that Dorito side, and now on the snake too, as Vidulich runs down Kovar. So Kovar is going to walk off. Still 2 players left alive for Moscow Red Legion, and Alexander Birnikov and Dennis Golev, but they're stuck in those middle bunkers. Way better field position for Royalty. It's looking like they are going to tie this game up here.
What a good aggressive play by Royalty. I like, and again, look at Royalty. Here we go, tying it up.
They called it. They said they were going to come out and win this point, and they did it. And they did it convincingly.
So John Kolkman is going to hang that flag. John's got 6 confirmed kills. Toke Hamill 6. Chris Catt 6 eliminations. So everyone getting some contributions on the field for San Jose Royalty. Tie game now, and we're going to be right back after these messages. Welcome back here. So in case you're just tuning in, San Jose Royalty tied up that last point, tied the game up on that last point against Moscow Red Legion. And what's at stake is whoever wins this match will assure themselves a spot in the Champions Division, as the top 2 teams from the Challengers Division at each event bump up to the Champions Division. So let's check out the schedule for the rest of the day and what has occurred earlier on this morning. Los Angeles Infamous defeating Upton 187 crew in the relegation game in the Champions Division. So Infamous maintaining their spot, and then the Tauntaun Flingers lose just a heartbreaker to San Antonio X Factor, but San Antonio X Factor, they're going to be in the Champions Division yet again, and definitely wanting to have a better performance at the West Coast Open than they did here. And remember to go to pspevents.com, get your team into the fight, sign up for the West Coast Open, going to be held in Riverside, a little outside Los Angeles. And right now we're watching Red Legion play Royalty, and the next up, Chattanooga CEP and Trenton Top Gun Union. Again, they're going to be fighting to try to make their way back to the Champions League.
On your screen right there, Moscow Red Legion, Jason Wheeler getting another spin out there, trying to get in the game. I mean, all you need is got to get a push start, and unfortunately, he's just been catching some balls on the break and having a rough go at it. So look at the breakout by Moscow Red Legion. Split screen on your right-hand side, Royalty, on your left is Russian Legion.
5 bodies alive off the break. Oh, but the Royalty losing a player over on the Dorito side of the field, so their strength will be on this snake side. But let's see if Kevin Klum can get in here and earn his stripes for Moscow. And he does get the nice cross-field shot, so there's no one on the Dorito side. That should speed things up for Moscow Red Legion.
And there goes Jason Wheeler in the snake corner, got eliminated again, so he is having a rough go of it on that snake corner.
You're down to 2 bodies right now on San Jose Royalty, and just dropping like flies. I mean, I'd almost concede the point. There goes J.J. Coltman and Toke Hamill taking the walk finally in the corner there.
So a little, I was going to say, might want to think about a little clock management here, because if they do concede the point, that will keep some time on this clock and give them enough time to get back and score another point. Though we haven't seen a lot of long points on this field, so you don't need 5 minutes on this fast-playing field to score a couple points.
Yeah, it's only, I think I've only seen 2 or 3 points that have gone 3 or 4 minutes so far this event on this field.
Yeah, the field, there's just a lot of options on this field. Snake side plays pretty strong. It's that traditional long ladder-looking snake. And in case you haven't seen paintball before, you're unfamiliar with different importance levels of those bunkers out on the field. The snake is the most important bunker on the field because there's just so much damage you can do. It's a very long set of bunkers. So if you get in one end, shoot the guys in front of you, then you can go all the way down to the other side of it and start shooting players across the field. But the Dorito side is very fast playing too, and there's a lot of options up that center.
And teams, they need to be strong on both sides of the field. And that's the teams that we're watching play today, the teams that we're consistently playing on both sides of the field, Chris.
Yeah, you know, and I like seeing people go up to the center. I've been saying it over and over. You can shut down that Dorito side very, very effectively. As long as your other players come up behind you and get down the snake a little quicker, you know, it can be effective, but it also can be detrimental if you're stuck up there by yourself. You're probably going to get bunkered out.
And remember, on the Dorito side, there's no coaching on that side of the field, so those guys have to have really good communication.
Get a quick peek over there at the statistics tower, and they are all cataloging, categorizing all of the statistics for you. Go to paintballaccess.com and check out the stats page and see where everyone matches up. Also check out, got interviews, blogs, stories, podcasts, and all the behind-the-scenes information and all the fascinating stories that happen within the confines of these camps. So many interesting things going on with all these different teams.
You know, and walking out, you see Moscow Red Legion right now. This game going to start here in about 15 seconds. You know, Royalty's got to step up to the plate, which in my personal opinion, they have the whole game. Few mental mistakes and, you know, unfortunately costing them a couple points. And that 1 point is making a big difference right now.
Here we go on the breakout. Can Moscow Red Legion put one more point on the board and get this victory? It's going to help them out on the snake side as they get 2 quick kills. So 1 player left alive. It's just John Kolkman for San Jose Royalty on the snake side to try to hold off the attack of Kevin Klum, who's done a good job playing the snake other than the penalty that he got earlier. He's got to be pretty careful, though. This is a crucial point. If they get this win, Moscow will assure themselves a spot back in the Champions Division, and it's looking that way. Bodies dropping all over the place for San Jose Royalty, and that is going to do it. So, wow, Moscow Red Legion. It was a close one, though. I thought for a second that
was a great game for Royalty, and they should be proud of how they played that against the Russian Legion on that match, Chris.
Yeah, without question. I mean, they played really, really well. I think Moscow Red Legion obviously has a lot more, I want to say depth, but they have a lot more reliability in their players to fall back on. You know, some players aren't making it happen. You know, that game, they kept their composure, and they just came back, and there's a couple of points there. They just smashed down Royalty from, you know, capitalizing on the mistakes that Royalty's making, like 4 players in the field. You know, unfortunate for them.
Well, the thing with Royalty is that if you think about it, and they go back, and when they think about it and they go back and watch this game, they're going to be pretty disappointed at the beginning because, and also there's just a couple other opportunities that they had. They just threw points away. So, but the good thing about that is that those are fixable mistakes. They just need to focus a little bit more when they get in those really important situations up the field.
Yeah, you know, and you know, unfortunately, you know, they just weren't able to do it. I mean, losing Jason Wheeler almost every game in that corner very, very quickly was very counterproductive for their snake side over here. Major penalties, getting those, and the minor penalties really, really didn't help. So it made the game a lot closer, in my opinion, than it probably should have been.
Well, at the end, they had some, Moscow Red Legion had some big points out of Kevin Klum and also Michael Kovar coming off the bench to take Klum's spot over here on the snake side. So both their snake players playing really well, and that's kind of been the issue. That was the issue, at least in the first 2 events for Moscow, is they didn't really have anybody stepping up over here on the snake side. And now if they can get Kovar and Kevin to play well, then they have a real good shot of beating whoever wins this next matchup, which is going to be Trenton Top Gun and CEP. So it looks like we have Lauren Kelly on the sidelines with Moscow. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, I am down here with Mikhail Kovar from the Russians. You guys played really great this weekend. You were dominating. You'd only had 5 points scored on you until today. Were you sweating it there in the pits when they were giving you a run?
Yeah, I mean, hats off to San Jose Royalty. You know, they're a really great team. We knew it was going to be tough coming in with Shane Pastana at the helm. You know, he's been coaching and now he's playing again, and you know the guy still got it even for his age. So you know, we knew we had to come in and respect them as an opponent, and they gave us the best game so far this weekend.
You really stepped it up this weekend. You're back in the champions bracket. What changes did you make since MAO that made the difference?
I think the big thing was that we lacked a little bit of confidence. You know, as a team overall, we picked up. I was new to the team along with Kevin Colm, so I think that we needed, you know, that experience of winning together, and I think that's we're getting that here. So I think that, you know, it'll help us whenever we get back to the champions division.
Okay, well, congratulations. That was 7-5 Royalty versus the Russians. The Russians took it. Next up, we have CEP versus Top Gun. We'll have to see who's going to take that one.